Hey guys, this is Animedesu, and this is a recap of another season 1. Koichi Sakibara is a high school boy who transferred to a new school in a small town in Japan. Unfortunately, Koichi falls ill on his first day of school and misses a few days in the hospital. Izumi Akazawa, the class president, and two classmates Tomohiko Kazami and Yukari Tsukuraki visit Koichi to see how he's doing and when he'd be back in class. After they leave, Koichi gets on the hospital elevator looking for his nurse. He meets Misaki Mei, a rather ominous girl with an eye patch and a bizarre attitude. Mei is a student at the same high school as Koichi. After talking with her, she gets off the elevator on the basement floor, disappearing into the darkness. Days later, Koichi returns to school, arrives at his new classroom, and meets his new classmates. However, Koichi is only interested in Mei, who has a peculiar attitude in the school. Koichi soon realizes that his classmates are acting like she isn't there, which draws Koichi's attention, and he sets out to find out more about her. Koichi tries to talk to Mei, even if she tells him to stay away from her because it could be dangerous. As Koichi is still fascinated by Mei, he decides to go to the hospital to ask Sune Mizuno, his nurse, about her. Koichi asks Sune if she's ever seen a girl with an eye patch in the hospital, and she tells him that she's never seen someone like that. But before he leaves, Sune tells him that she'll try to find out who Mei went to visit the day she met Koichi. The next day in class, Koichi begins to notice how his new friends find him abnormal because of a rumor known as the class I curse. Koichi is interested in the story, but his classmates avoid discussing it. When leaving school, Koichi decides to follow Mei to a strange store. But before entering, Sune calls him. She tells him that the girl Mei was going to visit was dead, and that her name was Masaki. Koichi is speechless and enters the store to realize it is a strange doll store. After snooping around for a while, he finds Mei. The two talk, and little by little, the conversation becomes weirder and weirder until Mei asks him if he wants to see what's under her patch. Mei shows him that she has a doll's eye under the patch thanks to an accident. Mei also tells him the story of the class I curse. It turns out that the death of a girl some time ago shocked her classmates to the point that the group never accepted that she had died. Everyone thought she was still alive, and they even gave her a place after graduation. But when the group took the graduation photo, the dead girl appeared in the picture with a pale but smiling appearance. Upon hearing the story, Koichi begins to ask his classmates questions, but they ignore him and try to evade him. Koichi also asks about Mei, and his classmates deny knowing the girl, saying that Mei didn't exist and that she was Koichi's invention. After several attempts, his friend Naoya Tashigawara promises to tell him everything after a test. Koichi is one of the first to finish the test and leaves the room, meeting Mei, who tells him that she doesn't exist and that he's the only one who can see her. At that moment, Yukari is told about an emergency and she prepares to leave. Yukari takes her umbrella and heads for the exit. Still, after seeing Koichi with Mei, she changes direction and goes down another set of stairs. Yukari goes down so fast that she trips and falls on the tip of her umbrella, bleeding to death. After Yukari's death, the class begins to fear because the curse says the students and their loved ones will die. Koichi is in the hospital looking for medicine and meets Sune. She tells him about several things she managed to investigate about the curse. Before leaving, Koichi asks her to get information on Mei. On his way home, Koichi runs into one of his classmates. They talk for a while, until a strong wind causes a glass behind them to fall. Thanks to Koichi's reflexes, he manages to get out of the way and push the girl, who panics because the curse is getting closer. Koichi goes back to the doll shop to talk to Mei, and she tells him that Masaki is her cousin. Mei tells him that the curse is genuine and to be careful because no one knows what could happen. In class, Izumi tries to calm down her classmates and prevents Naoya from telling Koichi about the curse. Koichi gets upset and confronts Izumi but receives a call from Sune about Mei. Sune tells him that Mei doesn't exist and that no one has ever talked about her. Koichi is surprised and tells her to investigate further. As they continue speaking about Mei, Sune enters an elevator to return to work. But once inside, the elevator cables snap, and the elevator falls from the hospital's top floor, killing Sune. After Sune's death, Koichi discovers her brother in Class 3. That's how she knew things about the class and is the reason for her death. Koichi investigates the curse with Mei and searches through old yearbooks. Koichi learns that his mother, who died after he was born, was in the cursed class 26 years ago. Knowing that his aunt also studied in Class 3 15 years ago, Koichi goes to get answers from his classmates. Koichi questions Ikuo Takabayashi, one of his classmates with a heart problem. As Ikuo is about to reveal the truth about Mei and the curse, he suddenly goes into cardiac arrest, dying.
Misaki Mei って子はいるの？
Misaki Mei は
Koichi returns to class the next day, and his classmates treat him as a non-existent person. Koichi decides to go to Mei's house, and she tells him that they're doing the same thing to her. Mei tells him that she does exist, but her classmates pretend she doesn't exist as a way to stop the curse. Mei tells him that the curse starts when an extra undead student transfers into the class, and it won't stop until they find out who the student is. So her classmates made Mei non-existent to cancel the extra student and prevent people from dying. Koichi realizes that everyone's ignoring him since making two people non-existent could strengthen the spell and thus prevent more people from dying. Knowing that they're both in the same situation, Koichi and Mei decide to investigate what happened 26 years ago when the curse began. They both go to the library where they meet Tatsuji Chibiki, the librarian who was also the teacher of Class 3 26 years ago. Tatsuji gives them the information about the people who were dying year by year. Tatsuji tells them that the measure of making someone non-existent was effective since the curse stopped every year. Tatsuji says that people who leave the town are immune to the curse, but the curse has never stopped in the middle of the year and is unlikely to stop this year. However, the class from 15 years ago stopped the curse thanks to a student field trip, although no one knows what happened. The next day, the class I teacher arrives acting strange, and after saying a few words, he takes a knife from his bag. The teacher commits suicide in front of the class, leaving a room of terrified students. To learn that ignoring Koichi didn't work, and that the curse was still active, some classmates start talking to Koichi and Mei, especially Izumi, who wants to save her classmates and herself. Koichi and Mei investigate the trip from 15 years ago to get information to stop the curse. Koichi asks Reiko for details since she went on the excursion to stop the curse. However, she doesn't remember anything about it. Izumi calls Koichi to the restaurant where Yuya Mochizuki's sister, one of his classmates, works. Koichi, Izumi, Naoya, and Yuya start talking about the curse and how to stop it. Yuya's sister tells them she was investigating Katsumi Matsunaga, one of the students on the trip 15 years ago. Katsumi tells Yuya's sister he managed to stop the curse in the middle of the year, but he doesn't remember how. Knowing it works, the group decides to take a trip for the summer vacation to see if they can break the curse. The group goes to a nearby beach with Reiko. Everyone's scared because something could happen on the way out of the city. But when they leave the city, they are relieved since the curse wasn't effective outside the city. Once at the beach, everyone has fun enjoying a typical day after so many tragedies. The group tries not to think about what's happened in the last few months until things start to go wrong. When the boys enjoy themselves, Katsumi shows up looking for Reiko to talk about the past. They speak for a while until the group asks them how they stopped the tragedy 15 years ago. However, neither of them seems to remember anything that happened. Suddenly, a strong wind blows one of the beach balls into the ocean, and Junta Nakoa, one of the group's members, goes for it. The ball goes further and further and Junta goes after it into the sea. His friends are worried when they see that he's no longer moving and try to help him. However, a ship passing at full speed chops him with its blades.
どこまで行く気だ。まずくない。しょうもねえことす。残したのに。
Koichi and the others discovered that the curse caused Junta's death. Junta didn't die from the boat hit, but from an impact before leaving his house. During the trip, Koichi finds out that Katsumi left information on how to stop the calamity in the old classroom. Naoya, Yuya, Koichi, and Mei go to the old school building to look for whatever Katsumi left behind. Before going, they promise not to tell anyone about the possible solution to prevent something terrible from happening. However, two classmates find out what they'll do. After searching for a while, they get Katsumi's message on a cassette tape. The cassette recounts what they did on the trip and how to end the curse. Although before they finish listening, someone enters the room and they stop the recording. While they're listening to the cassette, one of the classmates who's heard Koichi's plan dies in a car accident, and the other classmate who knew arrives at her house and sees that her brother has died in a crane accident. The last accident, the Class 3 group, decided to go to the sanctuary where the students went 15 years ago to stop the curse. When they arrived, Koichi's group managed to listen to the tape's end. It says that the only way to stop the curse is to find the extra person and kill them. When they find out, they all get hysterical, but Koichi encourages them to stay calm so they don't do anything crazy. The students, Mikami, the assistant teacher, and Tatsuji spend the night in a hostel. While everyone's having dinner, Izumi invites Mei to apologize to the entire class for, according to her, being responsible for the deaths. Mei apologizes, though she says that wouldn't change anything that happened. After eating, Mei invites Koichi to her room so she can show him the photo of Class 3 from 26 years ago. Mei tells Koichi that the doll's eye allows her to see dead people and that she already knows who the extra person is. But before Mei can reveal their identity, Naoya walks into the room agitated. Naoya arrives saying he thinks he killed Kazami after throwing him off the balcony in desperation to know if he was the extra person. However, Koichi remembered it, and after killing the dead person, no one else would remember them except the person who killed them. They all go to check if Kazami is still alive and look for Yuya so they can find the body faster. Koichi tells the group they need to get out before the Miam starts. As they are about to leave, someone grabs Koichi's leg. One of the injured classmates mentioned a fire in the kitchen. The house falls into complete chaos. The other students listen to the tape, and now they're looking to kill each other to eliminate the curse. Several students go after Mei to kill her. However, she manages to escape thanks to Koichi. Seeing all the slaughter, Mei says she'll end the massacre by killing off the dead person. The massacre survivors leave the mansion one by one. Naoya and Yuya make it out unharmed, but Mei is still inside. Koichi decides to look for her while the estate collapses from the fire. Izumi is still alive and tries to kill Mei, and after a brief confrontation, Koichi saves Mei. Before Izumi can attack again, lightning strikes the roof of the house, shattering a window and hurling glass towards Izumi, impaling her on the wall. As Koichi says goodbye to Izumi, Mei disappears, so he calls her. She says she's in the backyard and found the undead person. Mei warns Koichi not to go as he can't take what he'll see. Koichi goes anyway, and sees the undead person is his Aunt Reiko, who died a year ago. Reiko was also Mikami, the assistant teacher, and the extra person in the class. Koichi refuses to accept it, but after analyzing the situation, he decides to end his aunt's life. Time passes, and no one remembers Reiko or Mikami, confirming that she was the extra person. After the trip, the curse ends, and Koichi becomes closer to Mei. That was another Season 1 recap. If you enjoyed this recap, remember to hit that sub, click the like button, and comment down below to let me know what shows you'd like to see next. I'll see you in the next video.